the Hershey and Keegs Show.
Welcome to Hershey and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening. Welcome to Hershey and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening.
All right. There it is.
Take two.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Lick your butts and feel your nuts. That snuck up on me there.
It actually seemed like you were licking butts before you got in here.
Hershey and the Keegs Show.
Yeah, here
Tuesday
we are.
night, 9 p.m. We are live. We're back in the studio.
That's right.
Mike Keegan, Mark Hirschman,
Hello.
Tony Walker. Let's get it done.
We are, just so everybody knows, we are being watched tonight through the YouTube link, not the Facebook Live link. There was some Facebook glitching going on, so we're straight through on the YouTube. Is that correct, Mikey?
That is correct, sir. Okay,
Yes.
I can hear myself now, too.
You can hear. You had a little ear issue. You couldn't hear. What was going
Yeah,
on
no,
there?
it wasn't coming through in the ears.
Oh, the ears. Okay.
It wasn't coming through in the ears.
In the ears, yeah.
Couldn't hear myself. I couldn't hear you. I was choking to death.
Choking.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get for licking butts before you come in.
But we did it. We made it through the opening, and
We did, barely.
And hopefully, for the next 58 minutes, we'll be all right.
No, we're going to be more than all right.
All right.
And this is unique. We're almost like taking a crutch away from people where they go and they just watch it live streaming on the Facebook.
Yeah.
But now they don't have any choice but to go ahead and watch it on YouTube, which
Yeah.
is a good thing.
Yeah,
because we need to get more of an operation going on with the YouTube.
That's right. Make you people do a little legwork instead of us doing all the work.
That's right. So go ahead and click the link. Is that as simple as it is? Just clicking the link?
Click the link if you're not a.
Well,
click
go ahead.
Click.
Out.
I was trying to think of something.
No, not.
But not.
Nothing slanderous could ever come out of your mouth, though. I think I want to start the show.
Don't be a dick. Give it a click.
Right. Perfect.
All right.
I'd like to start the show with something positive that gives me some joy. Because if we start out with me being joyful and happy, then I think that will kind of permeate through the rest of the show. And
It's infectious.
It's infectious, just like you and Tony with your COVID. So we'll start the show by something that you had told me earlier in the day, and it certainly made me feel really good. You had told me earlier in the day.
I told you not to tell anybody this.
You had told me earlier in the day that this weekend you had, in your 12 years of comedy, the worst show you've ever had.
In 12 years, the worst show.
And that gave me a little jump in my step. That gave me a little jump in my step.
Nice when Mikey gets knocked down a peg,
Yeah,
huh?
that gave me a little jump in my step.
Yes.
And so I want to hear all about that. That's a great way to start our little gathering tonight.
It wasn't for the lack of the people that put the show together trying.
No.
They had all good intentions. Mm-hmm. But you have to realize the show, and I was with some good people.
Good people.
Good old Carla Okerson was on the show.
Fine person.
Kevin Seaman was on the show. And our buddy Steve Oliva set it all up. It was a fireman.
Yeah.
It was a show for firemen. They were Kevin and Steve are firemen.
Firemen. Fire. They put out fires.
I said
Yeah.
firemen's.
Yep.
So the show was it's called the Old Timers Night for the Kings Park Fire Department. They do it every 5 years.
So that's out in Kings Park.
It was actually in Smithtown.
Okay.
It's already not making sense.
Yeah.
It was for the Kings Park Fire Department.
Sure,
it
it was
in Smithtown. The show.
Great.
So every 5 years, these firemen get together and have Old Timers Night, where they honor some of the older guys and
The old timers,
and
almost like when the Yankees bring in, Whitey Ford's wife and stuff like that.
Yeah, that old bag of bones.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, no, but and then they also haze the probies, the probationary volunteer.
Oh, so they like play with their wieners and stuff?
No, they dress them up like Dalmatians.
Oh. Oh, dress them up as because Dalmatians are the fire dog.
Exactly. I didn't get it either at first.
Okay.
I didn't get it at first. I'm like, Carla, why are there 50 people dressed like
So
Dalmatians
no weenie
in there?
wanking. Just you're gonna dress up like a dog.
Well, the weenie wanking was all voluntary. That was,
Of course.
later on in
just
the
like
show.
the firemen.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Hey.
Okay.
So I'm like, why are they dressed up like Dalmatians?
Sure,
And Carla goes,
sure.
idiot. Dalmatians are firehouse dogs. I'm like,
Right.
well, why are they dressed up like them? First of all,
Of course.
so this is how they haze the rookies.
This is how they do it. This is how they haze them.
They dress them up like Dalmatians,
Of course.
and they make them go on the floor and pretend like they're sled dogs. They have
Okay.
to sled around the floor.
Sure.
And this is before the show. They get
Before.
a 2-hour open bar,
Right.
no dinner yet.
Nope.
They're hazing the rookies, and then they
Right.
decide to do a comedy show after that.
And that adds on to their normal 12 hours of drinking leading up to this event.
Exactly.
Just
yeah.
for what they do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they think that a comedy show is going to be successful after
Right.
all this.
Of course.
So there was some hot Dalmatian volunteer fire, not guys, like girls. There was one.
I'm sure.
Like the chief comes up to me and goes, "Hey, check the tits out on that Dalmatian over there." And I thought he was messing around with me, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah,
my
really?
God, those
yeah.
are good Dalmatian tits."
Yeah, those are the best
Yes.
Dalmatian tits I've ever seen.
Sure.
So we. So now they do all the hazing.
Yeah.
The guys have been drinking.
Yeah.
Food has not been served yet.
Not
So
a
these guys have
meatball's been seen by anybody.
These are 100 firemen
Mm-hmm.
at a 3-hour open bar, empty stomachs.
Crocked.
And now here's the comedy.
Yeah.
I go up and
You're hosting?
no, I was not hosting.
You went
Kevin
up.
Seaman hosted, and then Carla went up, and then I closed it out.
Oh, okay.
So now I got to do like over a half hour.
Half hour in front of starving, drunk.
I had their
Dalmatian
attention.
tits.
Carla did well. Carla
Yeah.
did well.
Oh, yeah.
But
very
I
good
went
comic,
up and
very
I had
good
their
comic.
attention for all of 90 seconds, and then all hell breaks loose.
Oh, chaos.
Chaos ensues.
Yeah.
They're talking over by the bar. Then I lose this table. Then I lose that table.
Sure.
Next thing you know, there's literally 4 people out of 100.
No one's
that
paying
are-
attention.
Nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
And I have to eat it for 28 and a half minutes.
Son of a gun.
28 and a half minutes, and I'm getting paid pretty well. So
Yeah,
I
you're
gotta,
making-
I gotta
you're
do that.
making some buck.
I got to do the job.
Yeah.
28 and a half minutes, just eat it.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And then like at one point I was like yelling at them. I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys better shut up. I don't care if it's the chief. I'm like, you better shut up. Like 100 firemen aren't gonna beat the shit out of me.
Right.
And then
I don't care what you say, Sergeant.
I go, listen, you people pay attention. I have 15 minutes left. Just give me 15 minutes. And then I tell one more joke. And then I hear someone yell out, 14 minutes now.
Oh, man. That's generally not a good sign.
Nope. And then
Yeah.
I tell another joke, 13 minutes to go.
Oh,
Like,
man, alive.
So it was
Wow.
one idiot that was like heckling. And you know what? I can't blame them. They weren't there for a comedy show. They were there
No.
to party with their firehouse.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
good guys. Like we were speaking to them afterwards.
Right, of course. They're lovely men, and they just were there to have a fun
They were
time.
there to socialize and have
and
fun.
you weren't going to be part of it.
I was getting in the way of them
Yeah.
socializing
Yeah.
and trying to bang the probie with the big tits.
Right, no, of course.
So, but it was brutal. It was a rough 28 and a half minutes. I'm
Yeah.
grateful that they had me.
Yeah.
I'm great. Kevin Seaman's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He is very funny. Just the name gets me every time.
Yeah, no, it does.
Kevin?
It does.
Kevin?
Kevin. It's like, what is he, like from Home Alone?
Yeah, really, exactly.
Like Kevin McAllister?
Yeah, seriously, Kevin. What kind
Yeah.
of name is? No,
Yeah.
but Carla did super well. Like she knows how to engage crowds like that because I just have no patience.
No.
And she does. And
Yeah. And you couldn't handle the defeat.
I can't.
And,
I can't
you,
handle
you ate it.
I'm
and,
still not over it.
No, and
I'm
it didn't
never
work
gonna-
out, and it gave me a little jump in my step today.
Because it did, and you know what? The worst part is,
Yeah.
Like I have another show tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
You'll
from
reprieve.
Saturday to tomorrow, I'm living with that show.
Yeah.
I'm living with that awful performance.
Yeah.
Getting heckled and
Right.
having people talk. So that's all I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
For the past 4 days.
Oh, good.
So hopefully tomorrow goes well.
You need a little humility
Yeah.
once in a while.
Tomorrow's like my wheelhouse, though. I'm doing like
Yeah.
a 55 and over community upstate. You know.
Oh,
that's my
wow.
wheelhouse.
No, that is your
Bunch of
wheelhouse.
old Italians. That's my thing.
Yeah. How far upstate are you going?
Orangeburg.
Oh, that's not that
It's
far.
not that far. It's about an hour and 15 minutes.
It's like right by Appleburg. It's not that far.
Yeah, it's right next to Appleburg.
Yeah. It's
Ne-
not
next
bad.
to Strawberryville.
Yeah. So you'll have a good time there.
Oh, yeah.
Go to a
Me
hot
and-
Wednesday show in Orangeburg.
Those big Wednesday night bangers. Me and
Yeah.
Tommy Gooch. I'm doing it with
Oh,
Tommy
Tommy
Gooch.
Gooch's
who's
a
good
killer.
friend. Oh yeah, so
He's a
Me
killer.
and him are gonna have fun.
You have a good time. Well, good. I'm glad that had happened to you.
Gooch and Seaman.
I'm glad that you and the Gooch and the Seaman have been working together and doing your thing.
And I'm glad that you get off on my misfortunes.
I was so happy. I'm like, I just needed something today.
Because Mark, we do a little pre-show. Me and Mark, we'll text each other the day of the show.
Sure.
Mark's like, you have anything you want to talk about tonight? Any like wild shows? And I'm like, well, just so happens I had the worst performance of my 12 years this weekend.
Man, I was so happy.
Mark was like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah, I was happy. And listen, what happened, Tone?
Nothing.
What is he doing?
I got a phone call and I just
I
got a phone call, a FaceTime call. I had to say I can't talk.
Whoa.
I thought there were bees. He was like, he's
thought,
like this. I thought there were bees in the studio.
We thought you were doing a Mr. Miyagi impersonation. We didn't know what was going on. We thought you were waxing off.
I was waving to the person saying I can't talk right now.
He's going to be waxing off.
We thought you were waxing off, not to be confused with whacking off.
Yeah, no, that's after we leave.
So you had some misfortune, and I know that you enjoy my misfortune, and you said in one of the recent weeks, and it made me think that you said like my life is like a Larry David life, that I come in with these stories. And the truth is, I think the majority of people who know me know that they're fully legit, that I'm not making them up. They're true stories. Maybe some of the newer viewers who are just one of the thousands of fans watching us on YouTube or Facebook think it could be just conjecture, but it's not. It's legit.
You are Levittown Larry David.
I'm Levittown Larry David.
Follow you around
and I will start by telling Tony, actually, I texted him a picture yesterday, and I said, please have this queued up for the show. So yesterday morning, what happened was I dropped off Maxwell at school, and I was in the. I'm not a coffee drinker, but once in a while I will stop at 7-Eleven or Dunkin' Donuts and get a decaf tea with milk. Light and sweet, okay? Like I like my men.
Gayest thing I've ever heard you say.
But I will do that in the morning sometimes. I had a babysitter when I was a little boy. She was from England, and her name was Lena, an old lady named Lena. And Lena would give me tea with milk, and I always have loved it. I never had coffee in my life.
Who are you, Peter Pan?
It was Peter Pan. That's right. That's right. I have one glass eye, and I'm wearing a green unitard underneath this outfit. Yeah. So
you had an English babysitter?
Yeah, named Lena. Yeah, Lena. You can ask my mother about it, or she'll probably say I'm a liar. My mother. She'll probably say, "No, you never had a babysitter.
That wasn't you, Marky.
You never had a. We left you alone when you were 5." So I stopped into Sev's yesterday morning, and was this yesterday or 2 days ago, Tony? Do you remember? It was this week one day.
I believe it was either Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, it was definitely within the past couple of days. It was a weekday, not yesterday or one of the two. So I stop in, and so I'm on a fairly lengthy line, and I'm noticing that there's nobody covering the desk at 7-Eleven. The one lady who works there in the morning at 7 o'clock is just off stacking cups. Like, why should be stacking cups at 7 o'clock when the fucking line is wrapped around the store?
Prime time, 7-Eleven.
I don't understand why she was doing that, So anyway, I can't sit still because it's just me. So I'm just like, I'm looking around, I'm looking behind the desk, and I look next to me, and I realize instantly that it is someone who I think is pretty legitimately famous. It's MSG Long Island Channel 12 sports reporter Carl Reuter.
I know Carl Reuter.
Yeah, Carl Reuter.
Yeah.
So Carl Reuter is literally one person behind me. Okay,
wow.
So as I'm thinking there, I'm like, I'm gonna pay for Carl Reuter's shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But of course, I take a glance back to make sure he doesn't have like 6 cans of Jolt and
exactly.
2 packs of Butts. Like I don't want to drop 50 on him.
Yeah.
But if it's like a 5 spot or a 10 spot, I'm fully in.
Thing of Reese's peanut butter.
Yeah, and he had like a banana, and he had grabbed something like a hot sandwich out of the disgusting grill that they have there, whatever that little
taquito.
glass,
I like the taquitos
something like that. So it gets up to my turn.
Carl Reuter's eating things off the roll.
Yeah, Carl Reuter. He looked great. He looked terrific. So I get up to the lady.
He's
and
eating rotisserie 7-Eleven. She's like us.
So basically, in one fell swoop, I reach into my pocket to say, and I'm also going to pay. And as I reach into my pocket, I realize that my wallet's not in there. And my wallet's always in there. Like, of course, why couldn't my wallet be in there?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if he realized that I was starting to make this move, but I bolt to my car, get my wallet, and as I'm walking in, Carl Reuter's already out of the store already.
I was gonna say it would be cool if he's like, "Now I'll pay for Mark Hirschman. I watch his show."
Oh no, that's not what happened.
That's the guy from Herschy and the Keegs.
That's not what happened.
Let me get his gay ass fucking tea.
But there is some good Hershey and Keegs recognition, though. I will say that. So.
So I didn't even you're an English baby. Like, what are you, Mrs. Doubtfire?
She was an old lady.
I was gonna ask if she was hot. No,
she was like. I mean, I remember her.
Lena's kind of a hot name.
I remember her as like 100. So maybe she was 70. You know what I mean? I remember her being very old, not particularly lovely to be around. Why that was my babysitter, I don't really know, but she was. And decaf tea. Well, I won't say she made me decaf tea. That came along.
It wasn't like a thing where like your parents were like going through a divorce.
No.
Your dad wanted to be around you, so he would dress up like an old British.
My father was Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah. That's right. No. She I don't think she probably gave me tea, light and sweet, and then the decaf thing came with palpitations as I went older. I kind of had to augment that thing. But so I never got a chance to buy Carl Reuter or anything, and I was pissed because it could have been a really cool moment. Yeah. And I don't think he would have. I don't think Carl Reuter gets noticed very often. Like, he's not that famous. I mean, he's been on MSG and he's been on News 12 or whatever, but I don't think he's like, it wasn't like I saw Bob Costas and everybody was
Would you be open to revealing which 7-Eleven you were at?
Yeah, 7-Eleven on right by MacArthur High School, like right by the Southern State over there. Yeah.
All right. So that's the 7-Eleven Carl Reuter.
Sandhill.
Sandhill.
That's
Sandhill
right.
7-Eleven, yeah. So I fucked up, and the chances are the timing of that's not going to work out again.
Yeah, no,
so
exactly. You're going to be there every morning at 7.
Yeah, no, I made sure I went this morning for a Yoo-Hoo, nothing, no Carl Reuter.
Should ask the lady behind the counter, like, does he come here often?
I mean, I'm sure he comes there every day, or more often than not. Yeah. But whatever, I fucked it up. But
maybe it'll be like another neck tattoo situation. Where the guy shows up everywhere you go.
You know what? That would be really great. Neck tat. I hope to see him this weekend. Actually, neck tat.
He hopes not to see you next weekend.
But there was a couple of good Hershey and Keegs recognitions, or Hershey recognition at least. So I'm at Max's. One of his 46 basketball games this weekend. We're over at Adelphi University, and I'm on
my old alma mater.
That's right.
Yeah.
One of your many alma maters,
that's right.
Adelphi. And at some point, I think around halftime, one of Max's teammates' dads, my buddy Joe's like, one of my buddies from high school is one of the dads on the other team, and he just came up to me and he's like, "Who's that guy in the red sweatshirt?" And I was wearing a Red Gap sweatshirt, Red Gap hoodie sweatshirt I was wearing. It's very cool, by the way. And so Joe was like, "Oh, that's Max's dad. He's one of the things." I was like, "Why do I know that guy?" And Joe is like a supporter. He's a fan. He's like, "I don't know. He's a comic. He's a Long Island comic." He's like, "Governors 2 years ago, fundraiser, East Meadow baseball."
Really?
And he remembered exactly who I was.
Nice.
He remembered who I was.
That always feels good, doesn't it?
And unfortunately, Stacy wasn't there because I love to make her. Because she hates that.
Now, do you go home and tell her though?
Yeah, but she don't give. She don't give a shit. If she was there to live it, it might have been something which she. Yeah. But if she's not there, she just thinks it's all bullshit. Yeah. But after the game, so the game ends, and I make sure that I get over to that area as quickly as possible. Just because I want to do like, hey, no autographs, leave me alone, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, Joe, where are your friends? He's like, oh, they just left. And I'm like, oh, my God.
They just left with Carl Reuter.
They're with Carl Reuter right now. They're at 7-Eleven stacking cups. They're there. That's a callback, Tony.
Yeah. Missed opportunities all week for you, huh?
So I had that missed, but here's a non-missed opportunity, okay? This was a legit opportunity. So I'm in King Cullen, which, of course, is, extremely common. I'm in King Cullen yesterday, or I can't fucking remember the days. Is today Tuesday?
All day.
So maybe this was Sunday, and I'm rolling my wagon towards the self-checkout area, and I see this guy that I know from Levittown. His name is John John Fielding, just a Levittown guy that I know throughout the years. Our kids went to elementary. Not someone that I hang out with all the time, but just a, hey, what's up, buddy? Like, small talk, and not hell of a nice guy. Yeah. I think he's been to shows of mine before, so really nice exchange as always. And he'd be like, hey, you still performing? And I'm like, yeah, I happen to be doing a show February 4th at Governor's. And he's like, all right, I'll see what I can do if I can be there.
Tickets on sale now at Govs.com?
Tickets on sale now at Govs. And of course, I'm speaking with a volume that literally everyone in the store.
I'm still performing comedy at Governor's Comedy Club.
Someone's in produce in the back. Yeah. Like, what's someone doing yelling about stand-up comedy? So me and John part, and I get up to the line, and I'm checking out my items. And so here's the self-checkout here, and then the next line is an actual checkout. And there's an older gentleman, probably in his 60s or late to mid 60s. He's like, I heard you talking to that guy. I plan on being at your show on February 4th.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, wow, that's really great. And he's like, my name's Frank. And I'm like, oh, I'm, Mark Hirschman. Nice to meet you. He's like, yeah. He goes, I have my colonoscopy the next morning. So, so I might, not running me back to the bathroom and stuff like that.
He's going to do the drink before the show?
I said, just come to Governor's and eat something over here. It'll go right through you.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So I said, make sure that you,
he's going to drink that sodium phosphate before the comedy?
I guess, yeah.
He's going to shit himself in the showroom.
He might, as long as it's not during my set. Yeah. But he said to me,
somebody did that this year on New Year's, I think it was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They shit during the show?
My buddy's daughter's a waitress here, and she said, I don't know if it was New Year's or it was around the holidays, though. Somebody shitting themselves on the
it's called they shitting themselves.
They shitting themselves
in the show.
Who's
shitting themselves out in the audience there?
I was actually, even when I was doing the show with Shane Gillis, as soon as Shane comes on stage, he's like a minute into his set, guy in the front row throws up all over himself.
Oh my God.
And does not leave his seat for the entire rest of the show.
That. Wow. I love that.
Sat there. Yeah. Shane's like, you're just going with that, huh? You're just going to, all right, cool. And he did his whole set.
Did his whole set, vommed up. Yeah. So this guy, he made sure he said his name was Frank, and I said, please make a point of saying hello to me after the show if you do come. Just don't shake my hand. But I hope he comes because he was a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for Frank.
Yeah, I'll definitely introduce you to him, obviously. Yeah. But so that was super cool. That's that's awesome. I enjoyed that.
I know.
I wanted to wish you my condolences on your Bills losing. I was not happy about that.
That was rough, man.
That was shit sandwich, man.
I would rather get blown out.
Yeah.
In a game than have somebody shank a wide right field goal.
I mean, it's really crazy. This is why you saw I made a post yesterday about how much I love sports and baseball, and like, we love sports.
Yeah.
We love sports. You love the Bills. You're super into it.
Yeah, we're a couple sports nuts.
We're sports nuts, and it's just, sports can be so beautiful and just have incredible endings and twists, but the irony of the Bills losing that way on a 47-yarder the way Norwood
47-yarder.
I mean, and he missed wide right.
Yeah. And it was a game like the one, like the Super Bowl, where they're supposed to win that game. Mm-hmm. They really, I really feel they outplayed the Chiefs.
They certainly did.
And you know what? The Josh Allen on that last drive didn't do them any favors.
No.
Stephon Diggs missed him, but you shank a kind of a mild chip shot when you're Tyler Bass. You're one of the better kickers in the league.
Man, I have to tell you something. I certainly and Max doesn't play football, though he wants to, but he has been asked a couple of times, because everyone knows that he's a good kicker, that he wants to be the school team's kicker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want any part of that shit, because, man, it is like, it could fuck you up. Like, that poor guy, Tyler Bass. Yeah. Like, have you heard about Scott Norwood in 40 years?
And Tyler, you haven't heard from Scott Norwood, and Tyler Bass had to deactivate all his social media. He was getting death threats.
And I'm sure if Norwood was, if Norwood was playing now when he did then, same exact shit.
Same thing. It's just he wasn't as accessible, Norwood.
No.
But I mean, then that's a Super Bowl too.
But I mean,
with Tyler Bass, it was cool. Like, after the game, Josh Allen ran up to him. He found him and put his arm around him.
Doesn't matter.
But the guy had to deactivate all his social media. But I will tell you, he has an animal charity.
Okay.
Tyler Bass.
Yeah.
And a lot of Bills fans, like the Bills Mafia people, they've donated like $50,000 to the charity.
I mean,
just to make the guy feel better, but the guy's in a world of
he just can't get that stink off, man. And it makes you think, like, if you're an offensive lineman or like, there are certain positions in football where you really can't. I guess you can't get the accolades, but you also can't get the No one's ever been like, we lost because the offensive lineman.
Yeah, or, the right tackle is not. He can miss a block, but nobody's gonna say. I mean,
the kicker really is the biggest goat in all 100%. Of football. If you think about it, the kicker in baseball, it's the pitcher. If you remember when Donnie Moore against Dave Henderson, Angels Red Sox, am I right? Dave Henderson hit the home run, and Donnie Moore, the Angels, eventually killed himself. After that, and other pitchers who have had this type of notoriety. Bill Buckner was so sports can be cruel.
Speaking of Curb Your Enthusiasm was one of the best episodes of Bill
Incredible.
Buckner.
And
Buckner totally redeemed himself.
Yeah, 100%. That was a great episode.
Yep.
Well, there's two things about Buckner. Number one, and I'm sure they can figure out scientifically nowadays. But I'm sure he would have been safe anyway, number one. Yes. And number two, the real disgrace of it is that Bill Buckner was a fucking hell of a baseball player.
But that's all you remember when you hear Bill Buckner's name.
He had off the top of my head, I'm thinking 200 homers, 1,100 ribbies, 290 career hitter. Like, he was a legit
hell of a
baseball player.
It was the manager's decision to keep him in.
Right.
It's his fault.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. So,
so like you were saying, though, the thing with the kicker, every single play in that football game, there's 11 guys on the field, no matter what, quarterback, tight end, wide receiver. But when the kicker's up, that's one guy in the field. That's the one guy you're paying attention to. He's by himself.
But, and I don't know if this was actually the Bass thing, or it might have been a different kicker screw up, but there was a coach who was quoted as saying that he holds his breath before the guy goes in. He said it to one of the.
Is it not Mason Crosby?
It might have been. I don't know.
It might have been. I know what you said. I think it might have been Mason Crosby.
And the truth is, listen, it's black and white. It's black and white. You either make the kick or you miss it. It's not like, oh, that was pretty close, and then we're going to get a couple of points out of it. Yeah. No, you're fucked.
No, exactly.
And I wish him well. And
I do too. But every kick he makes next year, every announcer is going to be talking about that one kick from this year, because that's literally out of a 17 game season, 18 weeks playoffs.
Yeah,
that's the one thing you're going to remember about the Bills season this year.
I wish I could talk to Carl Reuter about this.
I know. If only we knew where he was at 7 a.m.
Fucking Christ almighty. God damn it.
But I'm going to reach out to Carl. Let's get him on the show.
Yeah, we'll reach out to Carl Reuter.
Speaking of getting people on the show and people named Frank, should we drop that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to do it precipitously and gingerly, just because, but go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
We're very excited to announce next week's guest, who...
Yeah,
we hope to God is next week's guest. He's a bit of a loose cannon, so we're hoping that he comes, but he's committed to coming. If you watch Barstool Sports, you will know him as Frank the Tank Fleming.
That's right, Frank the Tank.
On Barstool Sports.
Correct.
Dude, I love watching this guy.
Yeah.
And he is committed to be our guest next week, which is going to be super exciting. Cause
no doubt.
Guy's fun to watch, and he's been on quite a journey recently.
Yes, sir.
And it's so funny, like you saw, like the CEO of Barstool step down last week.
Yes, correct.
People are petitioning for Frank the Tank to be the CEO of Barstool Sports.
I love it.
Yeah, but,
I mean, I love it now. I won't give a shit Tuesday at 9:01 if he doesn't come on.
I know exactly.
But right now, I love it. I definitely love it, and I have tempered enthusiasm. I'm excited about it, but obviously, he's a little bit of a volatile type of guy. So let's just make sure that
once I see him pop up on Zoom, then I'll be excited.
Super stoked.
So make sure you guys tune in next week, because we have Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank, for sure. I have some more shopping stories. I'll tell you. I don't know. I guess you could say that I do have a little addiction. Do you guys ever use a little? I have a little dick. Stop. That's it. I have a little dick. There's no question about it. If you want to talk about that, we can. It's not my fault. It's just what happened. My father didn't have a little dick. I remember, But anyway, I have a little addiction to. Do you guys ever use A&D? I'm obsessed with A&D.
I haven't used it since I was a child.
Oh no, I use it all the time.
Really?
Like if I get like a little irritation on a cuticle, I'll put it on. Or if like my skin's dry, like behind my ears, I'll use a little A&D. I like having A&D in the house.
Okay.
I just like the smell of it. When I have tattoos, I like using A&D. I just love it. So I go to CVS on Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown the other day, and that store, if you've been in there, it's
By
a
the
little bit.
Firestone?
Yeah,
Okay, I know what
exactly.
you're
So it's not
talking
my usual. It's not my usual CVS. So I don't really know where anything is, and everything is very like diagonal. It's just a very odd shaped type of store. So I went in the other day, and I'm like, I don't have 14 aisles to go through right now. I'm gonna ask someone there. So there's a kid who's probably like in his early 20s, got like a moppy hair and like a scruffy looking mustache, one of those, what do you call those, like hipster types?
Yeah,
whatever.
like a hipster type.
So I say to him like, hey buddy, you know where the A&D is? And just blatantly yells out so people passing by, is that for hemorrhoids? And I'm like, fucking dude. First of all,
he's been waiting for that his entire CVS career.
I'm like, what? But I'm like, why would you say that so loud? Number one, it's not for hemorrhoids. I don't at all. Like, what is the stuff for hemorrhoids? Like preparation H.
Yeah.
So he knew there was a letter involved.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, it's for babies and stuff.
Are you a baby?
He's like, is that for your baby's hemorrhoids? Like, your baby has hemorrhoids? What the hell? I'm like, no, my baby. I don't have a baby. My baby doesn't have hemorrhoids. I like A&D. I like the smell of A&D.
Like, because I can totally picture you. You're explaining every.
I'm like, dude, but I was mad. I'm like, there's fucking women in the store, seeing me, and I'm like I'm a role model for people.
Yeah, no, exactly. People recognize me.
That's exactly right. People recognize me. So
Frank's here. He's not coming to the show now.
No, Frank is not going to be here. Maybe Frank has hemorrhoids, but
Yeah.
I was not looking for hemorrhoid cream or anything like that.
You see Carl Reuter in the deodorant section just going
Oh my god.
like in Happy Gilmore when
Speaking of Channel 12 and Long Island people, Elisa DeStefano had another baby. The Long Island Channel 12 Newsday.com person. She is actually married to a guy named Mo Cassara, who used to be, I think he was like a basketball coach at Hofstra or something
really?
like that. Yeah.
Black guy?
No. That's not every black guy. Oh, God in heaven. No. No. But she had a baby. The one thing we didn't talk about, and we definitely should. I don't know how we omitted this, but I don't want another week to go past. We both lost someone who we knew very well for a long period of time. Walter Ostrowski passed away. So for those of you who are listening, and there might be some old Briarcliff people who didn't know about this, but our old student management director, Georgette Ostrowski's husband, Walter, passed a couple of weeks ago. And you definitely, if you knew Georgette, you knew Walter. He'd be around a lot. He was
great guy. He was my golf coach in high school.
Walter was a wonderful human being, great guy, a very rare breed of people who no one would ever say a negative word about. Like, he was the kind of guy.
He was a PGA pro. He was my golf coach in high school. Really super guy.
Yep.
I graduated with his daughter Kim.
So Kim and Danielle both went to
Sal
to your high school.
I'll tell you a story about Georgette.
Yeah.
I was at the diner last week.
Yep.
East Bay Diner, and I was just like in a rush, and it was just getting late at night. I was tired, and I had a lot going on, and I was with Carla, her mom, my mom, Juliana.
That sounds like a torture chamber.
and Georgette was there.
Oh, shit.
Georgette was there with some other Briarcliff people.
Oh, get out
and
of here.
the ladies were having dinner there. And I saw Georgette, and she said hi to me. I said hi to her,
Get
and it
out.
didn't even cross my mind, to say, I'm sorry. But I just, and then like,
Wait. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
We had discussed that Walter had passed. You were even going to come to the wake, but you got caught up at work in a work emergency. You see Georgette for the first time in probably years. A week later, in the diner, you're like, "Hey, Georgie, how's everything?
How are you?"
That's it.
There were things. That's pretty much. But then like I sat
what
down.
a fucking idiot.
Because like I sat like 3 minutes after I sat down, I go to my mom. I'm like, oh my god, it was just like my mind was somewhere else. I'm like,
Yeah.
completely forgot to give my condolences.
Yeah.
But now it looks weird if I go up to Georgette and say, I'm sorry for your loss, and she's with the girls. They're all talking.
Right.
They're having cake.
Yeah.
So I just sat there and didn't.
Oh, by
didn't
the
say
way,
a word.
I didn't want my matzo ball soup to get cold, but I'm back now to make good on.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, now too much time has passed where I feel like, and I don't have a spine to begin with.
No, you are.
I'm very
a
timid.
jellyfish is,
Yeah.
is a harder vertebrae than you.
I'm muy timido.
Yeah, you
like
are.
The Hispanics might say. But I go to my mom, like, it's weird if I go up there now.
No, it
after,
is.
like a few minutes.
No,
And then
sometimes
as
things
she
are just ruined.
As she was walking out, I told my mom, like, as she walks out, I'm gonna go up to her real quick.
Yeah.
And she like kind of was saying goodbye to all the people she was with. And
Yeah.
she walked out, and I just didn't have the opportunity the whole time.
Those were my people. You were with my.
Yeah,
those
a
are my
bunch of
people.
Briarcliff
Yeah.
people.
Well, so Georgie and I have been texting actually, just checking in on her and whatever. And she said to me the other day. We were talking, me and the Briarcliff girls, about coming to a show, and I'm like, well, there's a show on February 4th, so she's going to try to make it.
That would be great,
yeah.
because then I could give my
You
condolences
think
there.
you could- should I
Weeks too
should I
late.
bring a sign?
2 months too late. I'll come on stage.
I mean,
sorry
Jesus
for your
Christ.
loss. But I am, in case
You
you're
are,
listening.
and
or
all
any
and all
Briarcliff
kidding
people.
aside, again, Michael was sincerely upset about it. He's very good friends with one of Georgette's son-in-laws, Sal.
Sal, Kim, I grew up with,
Yeah.
and Georgette, I've known, I've
Forever.
seen
You've known her since you were a
forever,
kid,
and
yeah.
Walter forever, and,
Yeah.
like I said, I was gonna meet you at the wake, and I got stuck at work late that day, and
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit.
No,
What do you want me to
yeah,
say?
we know you're a
I'm
piece
just,
of shit,
I'm just,
but
I'm just trying to circle
you're digging-
around.
you're just
the
digging
fact
the
that
di- the ditch
I'm a
even
really
deeper.
piece of garbage that has no spine.
You are a really piece of garbage.
And but I'm also not good in those situations.
No,
I'm
no.
not good at like giving my condolences
No.
to people and.
No.
She did like the kid at CVS, just yell across the diner.
yeah.
Hey, your husband's
So Walter, I'll tell you a story.
was it hemorrhoids?
There was a golf tournament that like whenever there was something at Briarcliff that meant not being at work, they knew to always ask me. So like
Yeah.
me and a couple of other dudes were like asked to go to this golf tournament, and it was like Oyster Bay or somewhere fancy, and Walter was there. I don't know if he was I don't remember what he was doing there, if he was the club pro at that time, but he was there and he saw us out on the course, and we were just flubbing the ball all over the place. And at one point, and Walter, he would never get mad at anyone, whatever, but at one point he's like, give me that club. And he came over, and it was shotgun, so like, what is it, the next shot, you take the best shot or some shit.
You play the best shot. Yeah.
And Walter took the club, and I was probably about 150 yards away from the hole, and he took it, he just fucking chipped it, and he bopped it right onto the green about a foot from the hole. And I'm like, holy shit. My God. Like, he was that good, He was a PGA pro.
I remember when I was playing for him in high school, I was on the golf team, and it was like the one hole he was watching me, like we were in a practice, like the first couple of practices, and it was a par 3, I believe, but I came within like 4 inches of a hole in one. He's
Wow.
like, wow, this kid's good. And then I just sucked the rest of the time I played.
You came within 2 Mike Keegan penis lengths of a hole in one.
Mark David Hirschman
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, no, it is little.
What you
I do
just
have a
said.
little one.
No,
It's
you
cute
don't.
though.
No, you don't. It's nice.
Rich
So
Kleinman commented,
what did he say?
Walter was the best, he will be missed.
Yeah, so he was the best, and I hadn't seen Georgette for a while, and so I walked into the wake. She turns around, and we had a really like a good hug, and she was holding on to me, and she was crying because when there are people that you haven't seen in a while, but you still know that they love your loved one that much, like the Briarcliff people, Walter was part of our family. Like we really, really loved him. He was a wonderful, wonderful person, and so we had a very, very special moment. And Kleiman, same thing, and my friend David, and this was definitely a loss. But one thing I said to Georgette, and Walter was not a young man. I don't know exactly how old he was, but the point is, when people are as significant as Walter was, it doesn't matter what age you are. People still are stunned when they pass. I think I've told this story before, that when I had called my father's cardiology office to let them know, the person who answered was a woman named Regina, who's known my dad for 40 years. And she knew everything about my father and how, you know, he wasn't really doing great. And the week before my father passed, I remember being hunched against a fence at a MAC soccer practice, and I couldn't even stand. I was just exhausted mentally, physically. I was crying, and I called up Dr. Ratner, my father's doctor. And I said, my father's dying. He's dying. And he's like, nah, we'll just change the medication and he's going to be all right. Like, he almost poo-pooed me, and he's not a poo-poo kind of doctor. That's a proctologist. Hey, I'm funny. I'm funny. I'm funny even when I'm trying not to be funny.
Hey, poo-poo doctor.
Are you a poo-poo doctor? Are you with a poo-poo doctor? So anyway, so Dr. Ratner, who's a serious guy, obviously he's a cardiologist for 40-something years. He's like, nah, we'll just tweak his medicine. But I knew, you know what I mean? Like, I was with my dad every day, and I knew it was happening. I knew it was not going to be long. Nobody else would believe me, though. I thought I was going fucking crazy. Anyway, my father passed 7 days to that moment that I was on the field. And one of the first people that I called was Regina, who was my father's nurse, who my father would harass for Valium. And my father probably had much more Valium than he was supposed to, on him. He had bottles loads. And when Regina answered the phone, and my assumption is that when you're in the medical field, you hear about people dying all the time. I mean,
you kind of get numb to it.
Yeah. So I tell Regina, and she loses her shit.
Really?
She loses it. Like I had said that, like, God forbid, a 2-year-old baby passed. God forbid. Like, she was stunned, and I'm like, I was telling you guys.
He's like kind of a one of a kind of guy.
Yeah.
Too, your dad, so he's not forgettable.
Well, so that's the thing, and what I was trying to explain to Georgette, getting back to Walter, is that he was that kind of guy. Like, people were stunned that he passed, even regardless of what age he was, because he was that significant. So just to wrap a bow on it, Walter, man, we loved you. We'll honor you the best way we can. Georgette's, God willing, she's going to be okay, and her girls
sorry
will take
for
care
your
of her.
loss.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Good job, Mikey. Good job. Very good.
About time.
So let's veer off from that. But I want to go back to King Cullen, by the way, because
I'm sure you're gonna go.
I'm gonna go
probably
back to
right
Cullen.
after the show.
I know we've talked about this before, but man, I eat this shit up, and it's actually a little play on words because it's involving the deli counter at King Cullen.
You love that deli counter.
But I told you, like, I have like the little flirting relationship with the 75-year-old woman who works there, or whatever she is, 60-something.
Hey, Mark, can I get a little bit of your sausage?
Exactly, that kind of thing. And I just look forward to it, and I'm like part of the show now. Like, like when you're not part of the show, you hate not being part of the show.
100%.
But like when you're that guy, like, hey, Tuts, like the other day I got up there and someone else took me, and I'm good. I'm like, good. At least she's not taking me. And she's like, you're gonna play that bullshit with me tonight, huh? So now I'm part of the scene, Exactly. So I witnessed a really funny exchange though between the woman and like this younger kid who works there, like in his 20s or whatever it was. He was wiping down this machine with like, wasn't baby wipes, but it looked like it was baby wipes, And then one of the wipes.
It was actually A&D ointment.
It was A&D. He was just smudging it all over the thing. He was just smudging it. So he drops the wipe. I made some notes about this. He drops the wipe, and she's like, "What's the matter? That's too heavy for you?" And I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah. And then he looks over to her and he says, "I'll wipe the floor with you." Yes, and I'm just howling. I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. So and then
he beat the shit out of her. It was hilarious.
No, hold on. So she snaps right back and she says, "You better clean up your act." And I'm like, this is the fucking greatest. I'm like, beat the fucking piss out of her right now. I'm like, punch her in the fucking face.
And you got all excited. You jumped back there and punched her in the mouth.
I just started boot stomping her fucking face. But I'm just loving it. Like the banter is just the best. The deli
Deli
counter
banter is there's nothing better than
God
deli
damn,
banter.
man. I fucking
That's what we should
loved
name
it.
our podcast, Deli Banter.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting, Mike? We have a name for the podcast.
Oh,
already.
okay. I thought we were still trying to think of one.
Mike thinks this is 2 years ago. We were still texting about what we should name it.
Well, when we finally go live and people start watching,
Right.
It's a new show.
this has been practice.
You mean our next podcast?
My next podcast.
Yeah,
with,
you'll have another one. Yeah.
with,
yeah.
what's it, with Amanda.
Yeah, Eric Casson. Yeah.
No,
good
with
luck.
Amanda Gaynor.
Yeah.
Domestic deli disturbance.
Oh my god, dude! But I love it though.
Deli
I fucking
banter.
love
Deli
it.
counter banter.
I
DCB.
love it. I have to say I love it though.
I want to go to King Cullen with you and hang out at this deli counter.
Oh, by the way, we have to cover something because we did a little research here. We talked last week about the Jimmy John's thing, and I looked it up, and I think you also looked it up, or someone else did that, and it turns out that the reason why Jimmy John's doesn't heat things up is because it's not part of their model. They want their model to be fast, and the quote was that I looked it up. Why doesn't Jimmy John's toast their subs? And the answer was, it's all about being quote unquote freaky fast. We're trained to make sandwiches in 30 seconds. Having to heat the sandwiches would take longer and slow down the process. Okay, so
we don't even use bread. We just flop the meat and lettuce on a piece of tin
Yeah.
foil, and here you go.
but that's exactly right. But I did not find the Jimmy John's process to be that quick at all.
Really? It
I didn't
wasn't
find
then?
it to be quick minus the heat.
Yeah.
Someone actually commented on our on a Instagram Jimmy John thing saying, "Yeah, fucking jerks. They mail in. They ship in the cooked
Well, yeah,
bacon."
that was on our YouTube. Somebody
Yeah.
that saw our YouTube clip
Okay.
said, "Yeah, I used to work at Jimmy John's.
Yes.
and they mail already cooked bacon.
Yeah, they
it's
they
already
ship it.
They ship already
They-
cooked bacon.
They put it in envelopes. And mail it. Lick the envelope. Go ahead. Put a stamp on it. That's for Keegan sandwich. Yeah. So, so I find it interesting though that this company they're very particular with their lack of cheese. It's just provolone, and their lack of cheese. I don't know what Tony's got something illegal going on there.
He's always up to something over there.
I don't know
this
what
guy.
is going on.
What did I do?
No, he's like you're filing your nails. You're polishing your shoes.
I was just
your
reading
your
the
shoe.
envelope.
He's reading his mail over there, like
No,
polishing your shoe.
It was another show paid for their studio time. I was just
Yeah.
reading.
Gotcha.
polishing your shoe. So, but interesting though, I did a little research about this piece of shit scumbag company, Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
That there was an active boycott going on a couple of years ago. Jimmy John's,
because he tried to have sex with that shark.
well, that was a different one. Yeah. This is actually the same disgusting human being. Jimmy John's was trending Friday with calls for a boycott of the sandwich restaurant after a photo surfaced of the company's founder, Jimmy John Leotard, with with an elephant he killed.
Yes, I remember that too.
The photo itself is old and has frequently made the rounds on Twitter. So this guy is a shark fucking elephant murderer.
Yeah, and he's a real leotard.
He's wearing a leotard.
he's this guy is letarded.
He is. He definitely is. Yeah, just.
Yeah, I remember the elephant thing was a thing, and the shark. They say he's not nice to animals.
Disgusting, but he wants to make sure that people come in and out of his store.
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
because he wants to make sure he doesn't witness a murder or something. What a fucking animal this guy is.
Yeah. Get in and out. You don't want to see what's going on
Right.
here.
Just take the provolone.
Yeah.
Just take the Why provolone?
Let me open up this manila folder with bacon inside of it.
Hold on a second. The other thing is that pisses me off. If you were gonna start a restaurant of any sort, sandwich, hamburger, and the question was, like survey says in Family Feud, what's the one cheese that you would pick? We'll say it. 1, 2, 3, American.
Provolone. Oh yeah.
What? Not provolone, you fucking idiot. It would be American.
I didn't know where we were going. I was like I was in and out of that.
What are you in Tonyville? The point
I'm a leotard.
The point is, it would be American cheese.
American cheese.
When you go to get a hamburger with cheese on it in any place, it's American cheese.
Unless I'm having mushrooms on it, then I go cheddar.
Right, but in general,
American
if you're getting a sandwich, it's
if
American
you're
cheese.
getting an American hero, or
Right.
the turkey and If you're getting like a turkey and cheese hero, it's American.
You're the
You're not
worst.
thinking provolone.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, no.
That's exactly
You're
right.
right. You're right on that one. I'll concede.
Can we just talk for 1 second, by the way, because I do have a topic that I looked up that was really, really interesting to me. Because I didn't get a lot of people agreeing with me when I posted this the other day, and I might even get some more negative feedback. But I posted that I don't and never really have found George Carlin to be funny. So without getting too deep into it, just tell me what do you guys what do you think?
All right, here's my thing. I think he is brilliant.
Brilliant is not what I know. He's brilliant.
But I've never watched George Carlin and laughed.
That's all that was my point.
No,
I'm not trying to discredit him
I know
for
what
not
you're
being
saying.
smart.
The guy, he's like a philosopher. He's not.
Yeah, he's
of course he's a comedian because he puts a funny twist on things. But
Right.
it's like it's funny like yeah, you're right.
That's exactly
not like
right.
not like when we're on stage.
Correct. Right. That's exactly my point.
George,
I've never.
you're not taking away from George Carlin's brilliance. The guy's
I'm not
brilliant
saying
guy.
he's not a brilliant philosopher,
Yeah.
political comic, whatever you want to call him. I just have never watched tape and been like, "Oh my god, that I'm howling laughing."
He's the original ranter. You know,
He's
rants.
a ranter. You know how I feel about rant comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my thing.
Yeah.
Anthony, do you want to touch on it briefly?
I actually, am I that bad?
No. I'm just saying. I don't want it to be a long topic, but what do you feel?
I think you're both right. He has made me laugh quite a bit, but I do think he is more of a philosopher.
But I'm saying, like, if I had to say comics that make you laugh, your top 5, 10, is he there, or is it more Pryor, Rock, things guys like that?
Possibly on the 10, but definitely not on my 5.
Okay,
He's a master of observational humor because he puts a interesting, humorous spin on things. But I don't
Yes.
find him hilarious where I'm going to sit there and guffaw.
Right.
And
way to
that's
go,
right.
Mike.
I'm not going to guffaw.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you see the AI thing with George Carlin that
did.
came out? It was
No,
wild.
I didn't.
It was a whole entire brand new George Carlin special, all done with AI.
I don't. That creeps me out. I
It
don't want
creeped
to know
me out
about
because
it.
it's his voice. It's his voice,
Yeah.
but current topics from right now.
No.
An hour of him doing current topics in his voice.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like how he would have delivered it. And
No. I don't want to know it.
His
humorous
daughter
stuff.
was pissed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to know about it.
But I'm going to send it to you, and you're going to watch it, and it's brilliant shit.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm totally in. So there's a couple of stories that sometimes I'm doing a little legwork and some people say sometimes when they like when we talk about some things that are not directly involving us, so maybe like a current event type of thing. So I did look. I found a couple stories that I found to be interesting.
I do legwork every day. Huh? I do legwork every day.
Yeah, you do legwork every day. That's right.
We do legs work. Joe and Tony does leg work.
So a man in the UK, and tell me if you stop me if you guys have heard this. A man in the UK miraculously survived the following injuries: a broken neck, a fractured spine, smashed ribs, blood in his lungs, and other car crash evoking injuries from, wait for it, tripping over his cat. This fucker, this poor bastard.
No, it's because cats are absolute pure evil.
So I can't remember it much, just falling fast. It was quick and over within seconds. Then I was at the bottom, Chris Rowley told the Mirror. Can you just imagine those kind of injuries? You're just puttering around the house, going to put down a little kibble for the kitty, and the next thing you know, you're in a fucking, you're in
that cat did that on
traction.
purpose. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I hate cats.
That's why we hate cats,
They
right?
They wrap themselves around your ankle.
That's right. That's exactly
But
right.
yeah, that's insane. Imagine that. Imagine having such serious injuries from tripping
that.
over a stupid, disgusting rat with
Disgusting.
fur on it.
A squirrel with a longer tail. Yes. And the second story, before I get to the thing that I really wanted to talk about, there was a man, this is recently reported, student thought he was hit by a rock and actually had a bullet in his head and partied for several days, okay?
You know who shot him? A cat.
He was shot by a cat. A Brazilian medical student redefined having a high shot tolerance after partying for 4 days with a bullet lodged in his brain, which he'd initially mistaken for an injury from a rock. Now, how the fuck?
I've partied.
Yeah.
But I've never partied that hard.
You guys, I think I have a little bit of a headache. I feel like I need to rest a little bit. Dude, you got a bullet in your
You've
brain.
been shot in the head.
You have a bullet in your brain. No, I don't. No, it's just I got hit with a pebble or something.
Pebble.
No, it was a shotgun. You were actually hit in the head
And where
with a
was
shotgun.
this? Where did this happen?
This is
again?
in Brazil.
Brazil.
It's called a Brazilian that he had. Yeah, he had. So that will lead into what I wanted to close with, which is a story that I read, which is phenomenal. The top. Now this pertains to you because you're in hotel rooms all the time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The top 10 weirdest things left in hotel rooms last year.
9 of them I left.
Yeah. Okay. So the number one is dentures, which makes sense. You're cleaning up your room, whatever, and you leave it in the cup, whatever.
You gotta know your dentures aren't in there.
That number one was dentures.
Really?
Yes. Number 2 was witchcraft paraphernalia.
That I get.
Witchcraft paraphernalia. Yeah. People leaving their witchcraft paraphernalia.
A lot of times you don't want to take it with you.
I was surprised that it was so high on the list. I'm not shocked that it was on the list.
I'm not surprised it was high. There's a lot of fucking maniacs out there.
Yeah, so number 2 is witchcraft paraphernalia. Number 3, and this one hits really close to home, was prosthetic limbs. Number 3 was prosthetic limbs.
Tony, have you ever forgot it?
That's how I build a collection.
What I don't get though is like like you leave the hotel, you get in the car, you're like, I feel like I left something. Was it my sweatshirt? Did I leave my Met cap in there?
Exactly.
Fuck my leg.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, but in all seriousness, it might be like maybe a prosthetic finger or like something small that maybe you forgot about. What? There's such things as prosthetic
but
fingers.
A finger isn't a limb, though, is it?
Finger?
That's an extremity.
Well, all right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Right.
I wasn't thinking about
I'm we're thinking arms and legs, and you're like, what can I have left? And you go to scratch your head, and you're like, I can't think of
like,
what I might have left.
I think I got a booger in my nose. Shit, I don't have my pointer finger.
But,
where's my prosthetic pointer finger? I need to pick my nose.
but
Okay.
I'm going on every Levittown Facebook page to tell them that you have hemorrhoids.
Yeah. No, I don't though.
know.
I don't at all.
The guy that left his prosthetic leg in the hotel room was partying with that guy in Brazil that got shot in the head and didn't know
That's
it.
right. Did you just take a bullet to your head? Fuck you. Don't forget your leg, douchebag. Number 4, and this one doesn't shock me either. Glass eyes have been left frequently.
That I can get because you don't know. That I can get because Sammy Davis Jr. did spend a lot of time.
With the Rat Pack.
Him when he was with Sandy Duncan.
Hey baby, go forget your eyeball. That's right.
You only realize you left your glass eye when you walk outside and somebody just looks at you and throws up because they see your disgusting eye hole.
Sandy Duncan, why is everyone vomiting outside right by you right now?
Oh, I left my eye in the.
Oh, I just left my eye. Yeah. Let me go fly back to the room. So Sandy
That's
Duncan.
the second Sandy Duncan Peter Pan
Sandy
reference
Duncan
in this episode.
And Stevie, what's his name? Sammy
Stevie
Davis.
Jimmy? Oh yeah, Sammy Davis.
I'm thinking, getting them confused. Sammy Davis and Stevie Wonder. He had no eyes.
He had no eyes.
He can leave his glass eyes. It would make a fucking difference.
Right. He had eyes. They just
Didn't work.
Yeah.
The next 2 I don't really understand. I don't know what they are. Number 5, and maybe this is because the list was formed in Britain. I don't know, but Grandma's Lucky Teacup, is that what is that?
I get it.
Yeah. All right.
2 grandmas, 1 cup.
Oh my God, Tony, that's disgusting. Grandma's Lucky Teacup is a euphemism for
Jordy Sanchez. Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a euphemism for a diaphragm.
Is that true?
No, I don't know. No, it might be. That sounds pretty good, though.
God.
That was great. That was genius, Mikey.
That would be pretty
Grandmother's teeth taste like vagina.
I left my dentures in my diaphragm.
Oh my God, it's disgusting. It's awful. Where's my teeth and my vagina tasting cup? So that's number 5. Number 6, thousands of German marks. What is that? Is that money?
Yeah, I think it is.
That's money. Okay, so thousands of German marks was left. It's not the most common thing that was left. It's the most weird thing
That was when all
left.
the Nazis were fleeing to
That's
Argentina.
right. Leave it in the Red Roof Inn. Leave them.
Red Roof Ein.
Get the breakfast. No, that's wait a second. It's Spanish German. God damn it.
That's Argentinian Nazis.
That's right. Number
Grandma's Lucky Teacup. That sounds filthy.
So that's
That's how Mark orders his tea at 7-Eleven.
That's right. That's right. I want it in Grandma's Lucky Teacup. Number 7 is a which could scare the living fuck out of the next person in that room potentially is a clown costume.
Oh Jesus!
We bored you. I'm sorry.
No,
sir.
for
sorry.
some reason.
Yeah.
Did it have blood all over it? Just a
No,
bloody.
but isn't that really? Isn't that like?
Yeah.
Someone goes in there and maybe it's in the closet where you keep the hanging stuff
Oh my
and the
God!
extra
Imagine
thing, and all of
opening
a
up and
sudden,
it's just a hanging clown
Yeah,
costume.
yeah, exactly.
Very John Wayne Gacy.
and the number 8 is an inflatable body, like an inflatable. Yeah, no, I mean you can definitely
like a
see-
blow up doll.
Yeah, like a blow up doll. Like
Oh,
you're in
yeah.
there banging it, and then you just
Yeah,
put
you
it
don't
in the
want
closet.
to. You don't want to put it in the car. You got to
Right.
washing it out
Yeah,
first.
it's all disgusting.
Yeah.
with its diaphragm.
Yeah.
It's teacup. It's German teacup.
Blow up dolls are so cheap that they're one and done.
One and done.
Yeah.
You would know. Okay.
So, yeah.
Number 9 is someone left their caviar in the room. Yeah.
You know what they were drinking it out of? Grandma's Lucky
That's
Teacup.
right. That's right. That's exactly right. And number 10, and
It smells
certainly,
like a fish.
certainly the piece de resistance is they put it down here on the list as rosary beads, but we know that they weren't rosary beads.
Exactly.
We know what they were.
Why are these rosary beads so large?
Yeah, these weren't rosary beads.
Why are they
weren't.
covered in chocolate?
Oh man. Oh,
I'm
on that
surprised
note-
number 1 wasn't what I've left.
which is
In most hotel rooms, the number 1 thing I've left, my dignity.
yes,
Many
yes, sir.
times. I
Yes,
spent a lot of time
Yeah.
in hotel rooms.
yeah.
And I've left Grandma's Lucky Teacup many
You have.
times.
You have.
Right next to my rosary beads.
I would say that my favorite out of the list for sure is probably the prosthetic pointer finger that Tony made up. That's what I think.
All right. In all seriousness, if they're traveling or something, they probably have a few legs with them.
Oh, okay. If you look,
That's
stand
true.
on.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're
Okay.
running like
How many
Oscar-
do you have?
Oscar-
You have several, right?
I do.
Yeah.
How many? Do you know how many exactly? Or
Including ones I don't use anymore, I probably have 6 or 7 actually.
Wow.
I should actually start selling them.
But the ones you don't use are because the things change. That your
The
anatomy
technology changes, but even the top part, which is called the
fulcrum?
Stump.
the shell where the stump sits, that changes constantly. You know,
okay.
you lose weight, you gain weight, whatever. Those are custom made for each
Yeah,
individual
yeah.
person. So
Just leave this
Those
fucking
change.
thing in the Hyatt. Just leave it. Leave it.
no, they're worth a lot of money actually.
All right, maybe
this
we should.
this leg is worth probably around $100,000.
Really?
yeah,
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, no joke. Anywhere from 50 to 100, depending on the leg.
Wow, Jesus!
Take him
we
in the
gotta sell.
alley.
We gotta sell a couple. Yeah,
Take him in the alley and take his leg.
his wallet was there, but his leg was missing.
Right. His wallet had $24,000 in it, but they took the leg. What
He
is
was
it?
beaten to death with his
what
own
did they used
wooden
to
leg.
say in Karate Kid? Take the leg? Oh no, sweep the
Sweep it,
leg.
sweep it.
Sweep the leg. Okay. Well, we rifled through an hour.
can't believe it.
And it was a great show. We're sorry we weren't on Facebook. I don't know. We won't be able to put this on like a Facebook feed the way it was because of the fact that there was the Facebook glitch, right? We'll just be able to repost the YouTube episode. Is that right?
Well, yeah, right.
Okay.
But I'm confused. Like it's already on. Like it's on YouTube right now, and the link was posted on.
Yeah,
Facebook,
yeah. But
so
what
they
I'm
can-
saying is, like, we won't be able to share. Sometimes we'll share the actual Facebook link when it was live on Facebook. We won't be able to do that
correct.
because there was no Facebook because of
Right.
Zuckerberg hates us. Okay. A little bit after 10, we're closing up. What do you got to promote?
Oh, come see us February 4th here at Governor's Comedy Club. February 3rd, also I'll be in the Giggle Room here.
Okay.
So February 4th, come see us. February 3rd, March 8th, Giggle Room. Just come to Governor's.
Awesome.
Let's-
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, absolutely. February 10th is the Valentine's Day show here.
Talk about your show that you have, the next one coming up.
February 4th in the Giga Room. Come see us. Laura Patton, Dara Jamat, Fudge, Darren Greggs, Christina Holloway, myself. I'll be hosting, and I hope these two guys will pop in.
We will be there. We will both be performing at the Main Room on Sunday, February 4th at 7 p.m. Governor's Comedy Club Main Room, and we'll probably make a little pop in, each of us, for a little spot in the Giga Room show.
A little guest spot. A little guesty-roo.
So,
awesome.
So next week, our plan is to have Frank the Tank Fleming on the show. We're hoping that happens. Again, he's a little bit of an interesting fella, so we don't have 100% of confidence, but we're going to really try hard to get him. And he's already committed. We have his email address, so we'll see what happens.
He'll be committed, all right.
But, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next week. See you in a week.